I feel like we're all ready. So I think we're just ready to get this thing rolling.
How much different is this than what would be a normal spring football practice session?
Right. I mean, obviously we just finished up with camp. So usually camp, we don't have school or anything like that. So that was definitely a factor that played into it. So I think it's just a little different because the guys are just, we expected to play in the fall, and then the guys, we obviously didn't. And then the guys kind of had to switch gears. And so we're thinking about this spring season and kind of getting ready for that. So I think the spring camps helped out, but I think the attitude's there. I think we're good.
Let me ask you one more then, Joe. How much of, let's say, this week and maybe a little bit towards the end of last week, how much of it has been working on your guys and how much of it has been install against William and Mary? I mean, how much do you really know about? Right. I know it's one of the opponent that you guys play the most, but how much do you really know about them this year?
Right. And we started off with the camp just kind of focusing on us and kind of getting our plays and the timing down, the protection down. And as we got towards the end part of camp, we started gearing more towards William and Mary and getting the looks that they're going to give us. Because we have, like you said, we have been playing in the past couple of years. We know the looks that they're going to give us. And so nothing really is going to surprise us with them. It's just executing our game plan.
Hey, Joe, if I can ask, the fact that you guys last played them, that was the last opponent you played before the COVID pause. Is that any beneficial for you guys in preparation for this game Saturday?
I think so. I think last year we ended the year on a bad taste in our mouths. And I think this year, with them being our first game, we definitely want to come out strong. I think last year we had a lot of injuries that affected us, obviously. And then this year we're coming back pretty healthy. So I think that'll help a lot.
I know it's been a long time ago, over 400 and some days. How much has that game been talked about amongst the team? You mentioned the bad taste and how you guys lost. How much has that been talked about during this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything we do is like geared towards working to those games that we want to win. And so each workout, each film session, we're always looking at like our past year, like how can we improve from our past year? Like William and Mary was a great example. We lost that game last year. How can we use this as motivation to go into this workout, go into our meetings, just to kind of lock in and focus a little bit more.
Hey, Kobe, I'll start it off. I asked Joe about the fact that you guys last played William and Mary before everything happened with COVID. From your perspective, how beneficial is it that your first opponent is the last opponent you played in 2019?
It's really huge, especially noting that they're a rivalry game that we lost and we just didn't finish out that game. And so a lot of our goals that we set up over the offseason was coming back and finishing games just like that game. And so to have another chance to go back at those guys and get the win that we thought we should have had last year will be huge for us. Huge way to start off the season.
I asked Coach during media day the fact that, for the first time in a long time, you had a lot of numbers. There weren't a lot of guys dealing with injuries and, had almost a full complement of talent during the offseason. How further along are you guys now as opposed to maybe a year ago in the off season, as other guys were dealing with injuries?
Yeah, I mean, throughout camp, we could tell just having a full O-line first and second team was huge. Normally we're going up against first teams and then they just have to switch around people. And so that depth has been crucial, especially at the O-line spot and just other spots on the team too, knowing that one person doesn't have to take the entirety of the reps. In a camp situation, they don't have to take the entirety of the reps. In a game situation, we can really spread that around so that when we get people in the game, people can be playing at their best. So it's huge.
Does the defense have a little bit of an advantage with a short preparation over any offense, not just your offense, but any offense? Just because their playbook is like this and yours might be a little thinner?
Could you re-ask that question? Sorry.
Does the defense have any advantage over the offense, given that this has been an unusual and kind of a shortened, I don't know what you call it. We'd call it camp if it was in the fall. I guess it's your camp leading up to this shortened season.
Oh, yeah. So we obviously don't have a lot of things that we have to put in. We have a lot of base stuff. We have a couple pressures and stunts and games and stuff. So we don't have a lot. So in that aspect, I guess we're at a little bit of an advantage is we can just play and kind of feel out all of these things and test them out a lot. But I do think we've had a fall ball, we've had a spring ball. So we've had plenty of time to get in our full playbooks and just work with, see what plays work, see what stunts work, see what pressures don't work, and just kind of mess around with some stuff. So we've had plenty of time to kind of experiment with that and find what works really well for our team.
Hey, Kobe, got a question for Mark. He's having some technical issues. So he wants to know, how are you chomping at the bit to finally play somebody in a different color jersey after being away from the game for so long?
I've been waiting for this moment for way too long. Even after just the last season, going into the spring ball of last year, I was really excited to get back in the fall. And obviously hearing the news over the summer that we wouldn't be coming back was heartbreaking. But we've been waiting for way too long to get back out there on this field. And we're going to have a lot of juice Saturday. We're going to have a lot of excitement because this is what we love to do. And finally, we get to have it back. So definitely a feeling of chomping at the bit to get back on the field, and especially against this team.
Anything else for Kobe? All right, thank you, Kobe.
Thank you, man.
Good.
Yes, Coach. We see you. We're good.
Questions for Coach?
All right.
Yeah, Coach.
Who'd you have on before?
We had Kobe and Joe.
All right. Good.
Could you just give us an idea of where you think this team is in readiness wise, having, gone through all the unusual stuff that everybody's been through?
I know I couldn't really, I don't know. I think we're physically ready. I feel good about our guys. We're pretty healthy. But I think somebody said we hadn't played in 470 days. Just, it's going to be weird to be out there and kind of, there'll probably be some getting your feet wet a little bit, coaches, players, everybody, I think, but, we'll see. I mean, I think there's going to be jitters all the way across the board and we just got to obviously take care of the ball early, whether we're fantastic offensively, defensively can't give up a big play early, whether we're fantastic or not, but, it's going to be kind of strange. And I think we're ready from a physical standpoint. Are we ready? Do we feel confident in playing a game when we hadn't played one in such, it's always first game, whether you played the previous fall, you're always worried about the first game and the mistakes that can happen. And so we'll see.
You get the sense that your guys are a little too ready emotionally because it was taken away from them last fall. I mean, Kobe said they've been waiting for this seemingly forever. Is there more anticipation for this Saturday than there might be for any other Saturday in the fall?
Yeah, I think so. They, yesterday's practice was really not a typical Tuesday practice in the fact that you could just see there was a little bit, especially on the defensive side of the ball, a little bit more physicality, a little bit more edge about them. And I think the edge is kind of building up. But yeah, yesterday, I mean, there was some collisions going on, and normally game week on Tuesday, that doesn't happen. Sometimes you got to get them juiced up a little bit. And Tuesday we had to kind of tone them down just a little bit.
Yeah, Marcus, you can text it to me, Mark. Hey, Coach, let me ask you this. I asked the players, the fact that you guys last played William and Mary, that was your last opponent before everything happened with COVID. How much of an advantage is that for you guys in preparation for Saturday?
I don't think it's an advantage either way for us or them. You did ask if it was an advantage.
Yeah, just the preparation because you know the opponent so well, and that was your last opponent before everything happened.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's an advantage either way. I think there's some familiarity there, no question about that. But they have a new offensive coordinator that we got to kind of figure out. They got a new special teams coordinator. We've got some new coaches, but we actually have a new defensive coordinator too. So, there are some things that you got to kind of feel your way through early on in the process of playing this game. Even personnel. 2019 was a long time ago, and I think we got a lot of our personnel that played in the game in 2019 back, and they've got a fair amount too. So, I don't think it's an advantage either way.
Can you talk about the progress of Joe this offseason? I'm assuming he will start at quarterback Saturday. What did you like about him coming in and having him as a starter?
He's been doing a nice job. He did a nice job in the fall, did a nice job here so far in the spring. He's talented. He can throw it, he can run it. So, we feel good about him. Bo's had a good camp too. And, but we're going to go with Joe and Bo's going to play in this game too. But, I think Joe will be ready and Joe will be excited to play. What question did Mark text to you there?
I'm still waiting for it. Mark, you got one? Okay, he's about to text it to me.
Lane, you can jump on in if you want.
Technology is great until it isn't, Coach.
And you guys aren't even old. That's how bad it is.
Well, how excited are you? I mean, this. And I mean, did the extra time away? I mean, allow you and your staff, because your staff has got a little, some changes as well. Did this extra pause allow you guys as a staff to come together a little bit more than normal?
Yeah, I mean, we actually had some turnover. I think you guys know, and so we've actually got 4 different coaches right now, and 2 of them really came very, very late in the process here. And so I think, we got to kind of figure each other out. We're going to have a long extended staff meeting on Thursday to just make sure everybody's on the same page and how we're handling game day operations, pregame operations, where eyes are when they're in the press box, where eyes are when they're on the field. So that'll be, on Thursday, we're going to kind of go through that and spend a good amount of time figuring that out, obviously with the new guys. Sometimes when you got your same staff, you don't have to do those types of things, but we do have 4 new guys on the staff. And so we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. But yeah, I'm excited to play. Obviously a good friend of mine who's a head coach at Chattanooga, Rusty Wright, made a comment the other day. It took him, till halftime to figure out they were playing real football. I mean, he said that was kind of, his takeaway was, man, you really just didn't even realize it until you really were into the game. The special teams too are going to be critical. We don't do live special teams a lot. Early in camp, we did individual techniques, full speed, but how are we going to cover a kickoff? Are we going to be in the right lane? Are we going to block the right people and use the proper technique on kickoff return? So I mean, all those things, you just don't really know. And, first kickoff return, obviously, there'll be some apprehension, but I think our guys are prepared.
Coach, I have the question from Mark now. It did go through.
Mark.
He asked,
Sorry.
he asked what it's going to be like playing William and Mary twice, being that the Capital Cup is so huge for both schools.
Wow. I think it'll be strange. It'll be strange playing James Madison twice and Elon twice. Also, this is something that we've never done before. I don't think anybody's done it on a college level. It'll be a little strange, but I mean, I never. It's kind of not crossed my mind where I said, wow, we're playing William and Mary the first game of the season, kind of like that. It's always been, all right, William and Mary's first game of spring season, let's go play. So it hasn't kind of hit me, and does that make sense? And it's not a wow thing. It's all right, we're playing William and Mary first game of the year. And, I think probably most everybody, that those guys included, probably think the same way. It's Richmond. Let's go play.
Hey, Coach, if I can ask, do you think it'll be a challenge for you and your staff to balance the guys being 2 up for this first game and kind of go with the game plan and trying to get your mindset on what the game plan is going to be for a real football game Saturday?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sure if it'll be and it might, just because of how long it's been, but you're absolutely right. I mean, the emotions and how they're going to feel, and it could be a factor early until you can get them settled down a little bit. But again, it goes back to, if we'd have played last fall when we were starting a season in the fall, those things probably occur. The anticipation, the overexcitement level. But I think once that first hit takes place, I think both teams will settle in and just play.
Anything else for Coach?